Hi, I'm Gordon Burkell from Filmmaker U. At Filmmaker U, we create courses for film professionals to deepen and diversify your existing skill set. Every Friday, we post a video at 2 p.m. with a film professional to chat and give you a chance to ask questions. Today, I'm joined by Q Choi, who's worked on numerous commercials as a creative director as well as a graphic designer. Welcome to the show, Q.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Now, you're working in post-production in commercials. What is your role in the VFX department or in the motion graphics department as a creative director?
I am a graphic designer and animator. Basically, I would say I'm a motion graphic designer and working as a creative director at Harper Picture. Basically, I'm a creative director, but I would say design director and animation director, overseeing Harper commercials, graphics, and animation. I make like short film, like mostly TV commercials and digital social commercials, to like very short pre-roll stuff. I think that's pretty much what I do.
What is your background? How did you get into this? Did you study art or uh, film?
Um, it's a long story, actually. I graduated business school in Korea, and I'd say my parents were very, very strict, and I was always against it. Like, I like music, dancing. I do like skateboarding, snowboarding, like all kind of subcultures. And my parents actually didn't really like it. But at some point, I kind of want to be a good son. And I think I studied pretty hard and went to and graduated business school and got a job as an assistant accountant. And I couldn't really last long. And I always like art, music, drawing, painting. And one day I just thought I couldn't live like this. I can't be like sitting here like this, like working on payroll. And I just wanted to get off from there. And the first thing I thought of, I want to be a singer. I talked to my wife that I want to stop this job and I want to be a singer. And she said, no, you can't do that. So my wife already knew that I like all kind of art form, like especially painting, design. And she recommended me, like, why don't you start design? But I already knew that Koreans really care about age. So it's really like, it's not impossible, but it's really hard to get a job after 30 years. Like I'm saying, like new job after 30 years without any experience. So I wanted to be abroad, like either Tokyo, Paris, or New York, like bigger than Seoul. So I started to prepare my portfolio and send my work to different schools. And I didn't have any information about school in New York. And only school that I knew was Parsons. And I sent a bunch of my work to different schools, and I got a couple offers from schools. And I was going to go Parsons because that's the school only I know. And one of my teachers asked me, why are you trying to go to Parsons? What do you want to do? I said graphic design, but I didn't really know what graphic design was. So the graphic design sounds just cool to me.
Mhm.
So I just spit out graphic design, and she said Parsons is famous for fashion. So you may think other schools. And I know, like, I'm not saying Parsons is not good at graphic design. I work with Parsons communication design people, they're great. But I think Korean has like stereotype about Parsons equals fashion.
Mm.
So this teacher recommended me like SVA, School of Visual Art. So I decided come to study at School of Visual Art. And from there, I started to learn like graphic design, basic like typography, all kind of basic stuff. And then when I was a junior, there was different majors like advertising, motion graphics, pure graphic designs, interaction designs, and they actually brief all different majors. And when I saw motion graphics, I was really mesmerized by the work. Like, this is what I really want to do, as it includes music, graphics, and all kind of like cool movement. Like, I was just wanting to do it. And people around me, or like among students, motion graphics were really time consuming. So it's not really go-to major for students. Like, if you take motion graphic design major, you have to work really hard. Like, you have to spend a week to make 5 seconds animation. And I was kind of scared, but once I get into it, I found myself enjoying working late. And it's like preparing a big stage. And then when you open your work to public, I kind of feel some kind of fear. And that's how I become a motion designer.
I do want to circle back and ask you, what type of music would you have been singing if you had moved into the singing realm?
I was a 90s kid who likes American rap music, but it's pretty unique in Korea because it's really hard to get like music from America, like Tupac, Biggie, Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
But my father actually worked abroad, like different countries. And he always brought me like new tapes, new, I would say, cassette player, CD players. And I have a friends who came from States, and they already like Michael Jackson and all kinds of different music. And in Korea, we didn't have those kind of music, but like late 90s, people in Korea kind of mimic American music. And I guess I'm one of them, like doing rapping, doing b-boying, and like wearing like really, really hip hop clothing.
Baggy clothes.
Yeah, yeah.
I was a 90s kid too.
Yeah. So yeah, I really liked all those kind of, I don't know if you guys say it's a subculture, street culture, and I am really into it, and I still have those vibe in me, yeah.
Now, is there, like when you did graphic design, was there a particular artist that you started to gravitate to, or were you, because of that subculture of, you know, hip hop, graffiti, all those sort of interwoven parts of that community, were you attracted to things like graffiti art? Like, what was the, I guess, your art that you like to look at?
So in terms of graphic designer, I didn't have any information. I only know like singers here. Like I think I am a huge fan of Pharrell Williams since 2004, and listened to his music and looked for he composed and his clothing. And it's really hard to get those in Korea, but I was here and I like this new stuff, and it's everywhere. I can find good stuff here. And then once I get into SVA, I got to know the real graphic designers. Like, I took a class, like graphic design class in SVA. It's an honor class, and it's by Shemaev and Geisma and Haviv. And they were pretty like decent very classic graphic designer. And when I was in the class, my work was always like screaming, like I wanted to show my effort and put a lot of things in it. Like they asked me to make poster design, and I put a lot of things in there. And I've learned from them, like less is more. Like you want to put everything in there, and people don't understand what you're saying. So you need to know what to keep or what to waive. So I've learned less is more from them, and then I getting to learn simplifying things. And then I think I've changed it from like a lot of complex and cool stuff to simple, easy, and minimize. So I think it depends on my client and depends on the project. I think I know how to choose my direction. Like, is it going to be simple or cute, or is it going to be screaming, like funny or classical? Those things.
What you mentioned sort of like at a certain point you had to learn to choose what not to put in, or
Mm-hmm.
they sort of showed you. How do you choose that? Like, how do you determine when to hold back on a drawing and not put in a particular line or not put in a particular moment?
So it's like now I can think of how to use negative space. Like if you put, let's say you put simple graphics and typography, and you get a bunch of text from client, and you need to lay out and design those text with graphics. But what I always like, before I know the beauty of negative space, I wanted to like just put everything in spaces, and I didn't even know how to use negative space. And I would say the beauty of negative space. And sometimes it's just like simple. A lot of clients ask us that we want to put our logo big and huge. Like sometimes it works, but sometimes you have a lot of negative space, and very small, simple symbol in the middle is even stronger than like putting it big.
Well, now because you're working on commercials, and I
Mhm.
remember I was talking to an editor who worked on commercials many years ago, and I remember him saying to me that what a lot of people don't realize is the amount of storytelling that has to happen in a commercial to sell the product. So how do you work with the various companies to develop the stories or tell the stories through your visuals?
It depends on the client or product. Um, I would say I have two different kind of clients. One is they already have art directors and creative directors. They have concept. They already laid out their design colors and come to us to execute that. So it's easier for me because they already have like prepared everything. So my job is making it look more interesting, like animating it well, like compositing, those kind of stuff. It's all about execution. On the other hand, some clients come to us very minimal concept and ask us to design layout and storyboarding, style framing to execution. So in that case, it's more challenging, but I can put my creative on it. So it depends on the client. But most of work at Harbor, we work with like different agencies. They have art directors and copywriter team, and they basically have an idea and it's all approved in design and concept. So we just do execution and helping them look great.
What would you say was your most challenging project that you've had to work on?
Challenging project, I would say a lot of work that I'm doing here is like a lot of time limitation, but I remember we have a Walmart media job, and it's a 3-minute full vector videos, and they have like really, really tight deadline. I remember it's 2 weeks, and they asked us, the only thing we got is the script, and we had to design, storyboarding to execution, everything.
Wow.
And it's a 3-minute video. And I usually estimate 1 minute full vector video, I would say 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but it's 3 times longer and everything is vector. But I asked my senior designer, and we got this job, and they want us to make it in 2 weeks, and do you want to jump on it? And we need to sacrifice our time. But we were very thirsty to make the good stuff, and it's a great opportunity for us to like handle everything. So we stayed late night till like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and at the very last moment, like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. But the result was great, and we finished it, all designs. We animated everything in time. And obviously, we had a hard time like complaining about this, like killing deadlines. But eventually we made it, and everyone was happy. And I'd say people ask me like, can I see your work, especially vector animation? I show that like proudly, and it's really great and worth.
Now, when you show it to people, when they say, can I see your vector work? If it's a new client, are you like, yeah, this took about 8 to 12 weeks?
I mean, in terms of the time,
yeah,
I basically not directly talk to the client because we need to see like a lot of things. So I usually talk to the producer, like, and then producer can talk to the client. So I try not to directly like judge everything on my side and directly goes to the client. It's not what I do. I always talk to the producer and what is capable, what is possible. And yeah, we negotiate between, like, producers actually helping my time, saving my time a lot.
Now, what would you say is the most fun project you've worked on?
It's like maybe like a year or several months ago, we've been like working on Bounty, quicker, picker, upper project. And it's very short, like 10 seconds, 15 seconds end card.
Is it the movie
but we had
theater one?
Yeah.
The one with, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so yeah, it's a pre-roll at movie theater. And this client came to us, just the idea of we have to make a pre-roll. We want to use popcorn and soda as a character. So we want you to design those characters and personality into it. And same thing, like I started like a very short story, like the popcorn is very shy guy, and the soda is a little more aggressive girl watching movie, like scary movie. And then when the scary scenes happens, they jumped on and put like popcorn, butter, soda everywhere on the floor. And then Bounty, the roll comes from the top and cleans everything like in a second. And like my work usually be on TV or digital. And only moment I see my work is in the morning at the gym while I was working out. On TV, I sometimes see my commercial, but it's different from filmmakers. They can't really see my work at the theater, but my kids went to watch a movie and then they were like screaming and clapping, seeing my commercial there. I was pretty happy.
So I have one last question that I'd like to ask everyone I've been interviewing during this pandemic, and that is, because of this pandemic, a lot of people are locked at home, and the streaming services have sort of become our go-to place for entertainment. What have you watched during this pandemic that you would recommend people check out?
Like
A TV show or a movie?
I've been couple things like what everyone's watching. I heard that a lot of people spend more time picking what to watch than the watching movie. But I remember like it could be one of my favorite movie, and I've seen that on Netflix, Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that movie a long time ago and I really loved it. It's before I became a motion designer. And then once I got into this world, I realized that the movie title sequence was huge.
Yeah.
And then I kept watching it. And I think when I was in school, I tried to mimic those title sequence into my work. And I recently watched that movie again because it was on Netflix. And it's still very, very great and inspiring to me. And the movie title is still a classic. So I would recommend Catch Me If You Can.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for letting me interview you.
Thanks for having me.